Alrighty. Do we have voice? We do have voice. Cool. Whew. Alright, hello everybody, welcome back. Finally. It's like 9 in the evening and I'm just starting to work on this. Okay, so we got pretty much just about the entirety of the scripted event cutscene done. I think there's some creative additions I need to make, like when the second character says, just shut up for a minute. He needs to think about what's happening. We need to actually have like a valid reason for their next choice of action. Something has to affect them. So this is from composition and narrative perspective. I need to actually establish it because right now the two camera shots that I have in place are a little displaced. They don't really feel like they have any sort of weight to them. Besides that, we also have the fact that this starting area doesn't really look like what the cutscene, where the cutscene takes place. So we are going to, okay, we're gonna see if we can set up the background tiles to be correct on this one. So we got the background. Okay. We have this. That could work. Cave stone. This seems a bit more like what we're seeing there. Actually, that could... Is that what we're already using? Huh. Okay. Yeah. I believe this is the one that we have here. Oh, base. Cave background. Yes. Okay. That seems a lot more like what we need. We may or may not even have to maybe experiment with making another type of stone. Okay. It's also very rich. Mm-hmm. Next. We know that in the cutscene we have soil. There's no concrete. And there's also a lot of grass. And also a lot of vines. Okay. Oof. Some of this grass. Oh, that's cutscene grass. We can't use this in the actual game. And that's old grass, which looks horrible. That is a little bit better. Hmm. Grass block. Nope. Is this the best grass we have? That seems not good. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, this is like really ancient grass. I was using a noise texture here to make the grass seem seem varied. That's not good. Now, maybe we had something. Let's see. Assets, sprites, foliage, vines, trees, soil, moss. All right. Let's see about maybe putting together some grass, I suppose. Some updated grass. None of this lazy ancient stuff. Okay. Okay. We're going to enable grid. 64 pixels. How big is our tile? 64 pixels. Okay. So we can use that as a baseline for dimensions. We don't want it to be super saturated. If it's a little undersaturated, we can always add additional color to it, but if it's oversaturated, we can't really take away color. Okay. Platformer. Platformer it is. Oh, we should probably be using pixel art for this. Okay. So okay, I feel like we probably should make it both two-sided. Whoops. It's gonna be a bit annoying. What have you been up to? How's progress on the personal projects, personal front? Work? Yeah. Work's gonna be annoying. It's not gonna get any easier either. And more work. Is it like a commission work or is it part-time stuff? Both. Okay, well, there you go. Progressing forward, that's good. Did that project with the first person, the adventure game, that you were working with a team, did they actually end up climbing out of the pit of having a project and programmer not showing up and actually getting it figured out? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be talking about this in the stream. Adventure game? Yeah, I remember it's took place in at least what you showed me, it was in this abandoned bathroom. Point and click game, I think it was. They had a Kickstarter that was successful. They paid a programmer, and the programmer did some work, but they kind of dipped. And you were making models for them. A programmer on standby, but didn't do a Kickstarter at all. I thought you guys did. I thought that's where the funds for the programmer came from. Unless it was just personal funds. Alright, well, there you go. Now, damn it, I'm painting on the white layer. Okay, Good thing it's pixel art. All out of pocket. Okay. Hasn't it been kind of a while since the whole shenanigans happened? You have a programmer on standby. I mean, it's been like months. It's almost been a year actually since the whole issue transpired. Have they been just kind of sitting on their butts this whole time? Okay, I guess I can just do like another one. Well, come on now. Fill it in. Not your concern. Make the models. Got it. Don't want to be talking shit about the folks at the active project, I suppose. Okay, well, if progress is being made, then progress is being made. Delete the personal project until next year. Yeah. You kind of did the same exact mistake I did when I got into game dev. Uh, and that's recruiting people too early. It's like before I had even built out a complete idea, I would do like vocal recordings, and those projects would never actually see the light of day, and it's like, ugh, just kind of wasting people's time. It's not really good. But I had to kind of learn that myself the hard way. Come on. I'm hoping this is gonna look better than the previous foliage. God, that was just lazy. Gotta bounce. Good luck. Sounds good, man. Have a good one. Antoine. How's it going? Okay, where is that? Oh, it's right there. Okay, we have too many of the 2 block ones. Should do some single block pieces. I'm gonna save this. Right back from long exhausting day. Oh, there you go. Ah, man, I was out today. I should have grabbed some beer. Damn it. Oh well. This is supposed to be here. Assets, sprites, foliage, grass. I'll DoorDash some. Don't. Well, I mean, no one's open. Oh, that's, hold on, that's another 2-tile one. We don't need yet another 2-tile piece. It's okay. I'm a big boy. I can get my own beer. What are you doing? I am doing grass sprites for here, for this zone. Might have to redo this garbage as well. This looks terrible. I think it's because some of the pixels are half transparent. You need to stick to a particular standard, like no half transparency. But yeah, I need to populate this with grass and some vines because when the cutscene starts, the cutscene looks like it takes place in a more green area than this. And also, I might actually want to make another type of background with much, much larger boulders. Because these boulders are barely larger than this. And I think I might want to pull some contrast or push some contrast there. You know, I think it's kind of pointless to be using a pressure brush here. Because we're not actually taking advantage of that. Just use a regular brush. This way we can guarantee no holes. Have you had a chance to assess the model and the texture for the protagonist that I sent you? Put that down on your list. Tell me if there's any issues. Nice. Perfect. Do you have the textured model of Solender? Yeah. There's a folder for exported textures, or there should be one. Should be in there with the files. There is no substance file, however, because substance file is 20 gigabytes. In order to make sure that there aren't too many pixelated areas, I had separated things like leather, metal, base body, skin into separate layers or separate materials. So you have multiple color maps, which, you know, it's a main character, right? It's not like you're gonna have too many of these. But I'd like to have the mesh. Is there no blend file there? There should be a blend file there. Or if it's not it may not be necessarily a blend file in its native form. It's probably going to be like a zip file. Because I had to compress the living pizzazz out of it. Let's see. Protagonist model. Okay, one sec. Okay, so I sent you a zip file. There's a protagonist model 3.6 blend. exported textures and exported models. It's all there. It's a zip file. And the protagonist blend project has both high and low poly versions. A lot of the components are separate meshes, by the way. So it's in my DMs. Oh boy. I'm getting chewed out already. Okay. So what do you mean you'd like to have the mesh? What is missing from what I've sent you? Okay. This doesn't really feel like there's a lot of volume here. Maybe that's what we should do, just work a little bit further away. Hmm. Downloaded file did had the texture, but now it's good. Okay, well, there you go. Did you open it on the Mac? I assume no. You've been using Windows for a lot of your stuff now. Actually, this is where using the pressure pen would be appropriate, because then we can alternate the thickness of the strokes. Okay. There we go. This PC decided to migrate Windows 11 while we were at work. Really? Forced updates. God. We've been through this with Windows 10. I'm not having any luck with Linux either. It's giving me all sorts of other problems. It's the third time. Downgrading to Windows 10 again. Maybe just take that computer off of internet entirely. Transfer stuff. You can set up if you have a computer that has an internet connection, you can set up a LAN connection to the other computer so you can transfer files to it, but just take it offline. Seems kind of an annoying thing to do, though. maybe in this case, I'm not actually going to make it do alpha inherit so that it just paints on top of it, and any pixels that stick outside, then, well, to be honest, that looks pretty good. Those look really good. Yeah. Just trying to kind of break out of my standard approach, which is when I would just do a base shape, and then uh, any new layer is gonna do alpha inherit, so that any painting outside of the grass shape would end up being ignored. Damn it. I just realized I'm not going to be able to export these as individual sprites. I'm going to have an extra step of breaking these things apart because I only have 2-3 layers. Yeesh, okay. Alright. It is what it is. I should have done multiple separate layers. Or we could treat it as a tile. Technically. I don't know if it's really that great. Could also hypothetically just export this as one single image and then simply use sprite regions. It's more annoying than just drag and dropping a single sprite. Maybe not. It's just gonna add extra work. We'll have highlights at the top. Sure. Okay. Now, we could, hypothetically, merge this together, and then I can just do this. So anytime I cut them out and paste them back in, they get pasted in as a separate layer, which is kind of what we want. Because that way, we can use batch exporting. Now, it did require us to sacrifice the multi-layered nature of this, but that is okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's give them names. Well, I'm gonna do this because files are gonna be called like that. The first one determines how many tiles it occupies horizontally. And the second is just the number of the tile. Maybe we did a few too many of the ones. Okay, beautiful. That's good. Next. Well, now we can actually use the tool, export layers. So like this, adjust, yes, adjust to the size of the contents. Ignore invisible layers, we don't have any. Yeah, so we can ignore that. Export location, engine, sprites, foliage. Okay, this is gonna be new grass. Give this a go. Ooh. Okay, taking a little bit of time here. Rendering it out. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna keep that there. Let this get imported. New grass, grass. Beautiful. Just gonna move that back. Well, let's see if that actually works. Node 2D, grass. That is really blown out. All of the light nodes are not doing us any favors. Hmm. Okay. Oh yeah, that's not even inside. Interesting. Huh. Okay, so I suppose we would have to compensate for the lightness of the, well, of these lights by toning down the modulate, because otherwise it's pretty much destroying the color. Hmm. So the light mask is disabled, and yet it is still affected by the darkness. So I guess the light mask and the darkness mask not the same, unless we have a canvas modulate. Can we tell it to not affect certain elements? Hmm. Okay. So if we set the layer high enough, we actually set it to be outside of the range of all of these lights. But that's, again, not really what we want. And this is all because there's occluder shapes within the floor. Huh. Don't know if I like this. From the distance, the grass looks fine, but the player gets affected by this as well. Jeez. Okay. Hmm. Could very well be. Oh, that's visibility. That's interesting. The shadow casting is not enabled. Fascinating. Placing it after the canvas module does not seem to yield any difference. As a matter of fact, what if I do this and I tell it to not be affected? Well, that is a little weird. Hmm. How did this get not affected? And oh, that one's just a background prop. Okay. Could it be that I might actually have to disable occlusion? Yeah, you can see how the occlusion um, the occlusion of the tile is causing the grass to become darker there. Now, does this mean we have to disable the occlusion here? Terrain, physical, navigation layer, occlusion, light mask. Well, that's basically it. It says light mask 1. But that kind of means that we should be able to take the grass off of light mask 1, and yet it's still being affected by the shadow. Hmm. Let me try something. Let's do light mode unshaded. Okay, which means if I bring this up, that's as bright as it goes. Okay. I mean, I did go really dark. I should have gone mid green, and I went darker green. So maybe I can do this. Overlay or screen. Okay. Not too rich, but let's try this. So I'm going to save it. We made it brighter. Okay, while that is exporting, just typing some messages. Oh, okay. So, okay, let's go back here. Okay, right. We have to drag this out. Oh, don't need this. And then we need to override all of these. And, oh. Well, that looks exactly the same. It looks like it didn't actually use export filter layers. Group as layer, ignore invisible layers. Oh, man. It just exported that layer separately. So maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do a filter layer. So add, oh, no, not like this. Add filter layer. Okay, the filter layer is going to be this one. I should have just done that right away. Maybe not this one. Maybe we should do levels instead. Because levels allows us to increase, but also push the contrast. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to rename the project. Create a project. So we know it's sprites, foliage, new grass. Okay, so I'm going to save. I'm going to open. Asset sprites, foliage. It's not grass, it's new grass. So now that I open it, and we do tool, export layers, engine, sprites, foliage, and then we just export it here. There's already a folder called new grass here. So when I export it, PNG, adjust size, I think that's it. It should just export to a folder called new grass and we should be good. I should keep this in mind. Okay, send some more messages. That's good. Now, is it going to incorporate the changes? That looks exactly the same. Export filter layers? What does that even mean? I sure hope exporting filter layers isn't just going to make yet another file with nothing on it. I hope it means it's just going to apply the filter layer to the final image. If not, we might just have to use tiles. Nope, it basically just exported that as a separate file. Man. Come on, man. I have a feeling we might just have to use a tile layer for this. Hmm. Maybe we don't export in batch mode. Oh, okay. It's going to be asking me for every single one of them. Dang it. Nope. Whoops. Okay. At least I can queue up escapes. Nope, no I can't. Okay. Alright. All layers have been exported. Oh, okay. Batch mode. Alright. Let's just export as one single image. Sprites. Oh, this is engine sprites. And I guess this would be tiles. So not sprites, this is tiles. PNG. Foliage. New grass. Okay. Now, get rid of this. Oh, that might also not make it do this anymore. Not be affected by the shadow maps. Maybe. Let's see. I'm gonna hide this for now. Walls. Walls. Sure. Now, add new patterns in the tilemap editing mode. Patterns. Drag and drop or paste tilemap selection. Really? Just like that? Oh, that's just copying the node. Drag and drop or... Oh, it means in the level. Well, that's a little lassie. Okay. Let's see. I can do this. But want to make sure it's on a separate layer. Okay, so layers. There we go. Navigation enabled. That's not really relevant. Enabled, modulate, Y sort. Okay. And then we can go here. Grass. Uh-huh. If we make it darker. Oh, it's still affected by it. Can't really combine multiples together. Alright, so tile might not work. I think with the new version of Godot, we have the tile layers are no longer part of the tilemap node. They're actually separate nodes, which, in my opinion, is much easier to work with. But I think that's coming in 4.3. Okay. Let's make a decision here. So let's not use tiles. Delete this. How do we deal with this, though? I think the way we're going to have to deal with it is by placing a group. Okay. Cutting this out. Pasting it into each group. We would only have to do this for this one. With the next iteration, we're just going to make sure to double check the colors first, do some sort of a color test, pop it into the project, make sure that it works from there. Okay, so now export layers, take rise, engine, sprites, foliage, and then we'll leave it here. PNG, adjust, group as layers. And then this. Good night. Sounds good, man. Have a good night. Appreciate the company. Mm-hmm. Okay, and... Oh boy. Right, those are tiles. It's complaining about the tiles missing, which is understandable, because we don't need these tiles anymore. Just gonna get rid of these. Thankfully, they did add the feature where it remembers when the tile was removed. Grass. Does that look the same? That does not look the same. Although maybe it is. Okay. Actually, okay, so that looks pretty good once we re-enabled the canvas modulate. Oh, never mind. It did not use the proper names. Okay. You know what? There's no solution that doesn't take a lot of work. Boy. Okay, fine. Our system is struggling to stay connected to the internet. Oh, there we go. Back online. Oh, you know what? That was the furnace turning on. Oh man, that is some dirty power. Okay, that is looking better. And then, coincidentally, if we need to make it darker, we can always make it darker like this. Except for that one. That one's new. We need to tell it to use parent material. Hmm. Oh, yeah, this one didn't get exported. Or did it? It might have been exported twice. Like the name did not match. Oh, there we go. That's 2. That's supposed to be 2. Okay. Well, it's a little bit of manual labor, but we got it. Do 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 do. Come on. There we go. Okay. That's fine. That's the grass. Could place it behind the wall. If we place it behind the wall, we just need to make it darker like this. And then we don't have to worry about stuff getting blown out of proportion. Okay, well, we kind of have to go through uh, these processes to figure out what's up. Now, there are supposed to be vines. If I remember correctly, we did make vines swing. Vines GD, vine, vine rigid. Yes. Everything is so blown out, man. It's not good. Okay. And we have to like compensate for it. Okay. Well, that's cool. The whole idea here is that when the players emerge, they actually get teleported here. Need to place this behind the wall. Yeah, so the players get teleported here, but they get teleported violently. And before we were just kind of animating the movement of the player using an animation player node, and it looked kind of goofy. So I think what we're going to do this time around we can do some sort of a special effect of a beam hitting the ground and then some particles, and then it's going to cut into the animation. Okay, now I'm going to stop this recording here, take a quick 5-minute break, then we'll come back and do that. Okay? Cool. Alrighty. Let's not waste any time. So, let's take a look at that effect. That effect that we wanted to put together. So, we are going to establish a sprite. It's going to be 128, and the height is going to be 64. It is essentially going to be a streak. Take a particle streak. We'll stretch it and blow it out of proportion, and then see if it's gonna look the part. I'm just gonna do it with a black color for now. Time to think, we might actually have to make it a lot longer. Okay, got some openings. Don't want any openings. There we go. Do 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 do. There we go. Okay. This may or may not work. Let's take a look here. Teleport streak. Engine, sprites. This technically isn't a particle. I'm going to place it here because it's more of an effect. But we don't have a separate dedicated folder for just that. So we'll see about this. Okay. Sprite 3D. Take the teleport streak. Okay, we're going to enable region. It's going to be 64 by 64. But we're going to stretch it out like this. Come on. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Okay. that is the effect. So we super stretched it. Okay, it's gonna come in here. Okay. What can we do here? Maybe we can add a little bit of a glow here. Sure. Lift it up. Let's go 75 and then 532. This is just to expand it so we don't clip the glow effect. Although I think that still might be happening just a little bit. Assets, sprites, effects, teleport, streak. And then we do here, portal, teleport, streak. Okay, so this is it 75 now? Yes. And then the width of 64 pixels is still okay. Okay, so because the texture is not set to repeat, it doesn't just infinitely repeat itself, although we can use this effect to make energy streams if we ever need to do something like that for level design. Okay, so teleport streak, teleport streak 2. Right, so we got two characters teleporting. They're both going to come out of here. We're going to drag this above the walls. Now this is technically a scripted event. So we're going to take an animation player. Okay, so teleport out trial course, teleport out event. I am going to place this into a Node2D node. Actually, so we don't lose track of it, let's reset the location, rotation, and scale. And then place everything that belongs to it in here. Animation player. Okay. Now, random explosion spawner, crumbling block explosion. There was single part explosion. There was a particle system. I don't know if we still have it. No, we probably don't. It was an explosion of rocks, so to speak. Okay, so I'm just gonna place the two streaks here. And then we need to do what is it? GPU particle 2D. Move it here. There's supposed to be a rock texture, a rock sprite, that we were using for a much earlier version of this effect. Sprites, particles. soil debris. Okay, and then we're going to give a process material, and then we can see it. Now, again, this is affected by everything. So we need to make it darker. Okay. Let's make it a box. And make it occupy all these areas. Velocity. Has to go up. Okay. Scale has to be random. Angle has to be random. Okay. Rotation. Uh, hmm. Okay, they're all stationary right now. But I need to make them rotate. Radial velocity. No, that's not it. Orbit. Also not it. Angular. There we go. That's what we want. Okay, next. We want this to be a bit more explosive. Let's make amount 16. Lifespan 3 seconds. Maybe 5. So that there's plenty of time for it to dissipate. Scale. Maybe we can do a scale curve. Okay, explosiveness is not quite there. This one just goes straight explosive. Actually, no. We do have a streak. The streak isn't going to be instantaneous. So that's fine. Okay, so this is ground explosion 1. Okay, we're going to move that here. And then duplicate, place one here. These are supposed to be one-time events, though. So we're going to tell them to be one-shots. And then we're going to make an animation here. Teleport streak occurred. Okay. So minus 512. That should put us sufficiently enough. Well, that's quite a bit out, actually. Oh, okay. 512 then. Mm-hmm. That's good. Start with this teleport streak. So we're gonna record, and we're also gonna place a keyframe for this. Okay. So first we have this guy, 0. Okay, now that looks pretty good. Except they didn't do it for the second one. Because the second one is kind of outside of the frames. Nice. I like it. That actually looks pretty good. Way better than what I had before. So, once again, with particles or with special effects, sometimes you just have to fake a bunch of stuff. Now, let's see here. We have snapping enabled, so it's kind of hard to catch the point where it's hitting. So this is where we would want to make, place a keyframe there, make this one be on. Okay, particle probably could be a lot faster. Okay, let's disable one shot, enable these. Maybe we can increase the simulation scale. Okay. There we go. Mm-hmm. That's looking good. Now, player start. We don't want to auto spawn these. Okay. If that doesn't happen, camera handler. Where's the camera handler? It's right here. Okay, so the camera handler exists whether or not the players exist. That's good. That is good. I think I might want to do a new tile that already has some green moss over it, because I did all these clusters of moss or whatever this is in order to make the predominantly brown soil feel a little bit more lush, greenish, but this is not really looking too good. Like, I'd have to use a lot of these to make the soil feel green. I might as well at that point just make green soil tile right away. Okay. Now, okay, so this is where, how does this scene actually start? Well, I still want to do the same thing I did last time, where the camera slowly pans around the various locations of the map, and then it stops at the spawn area, and that's when the characters teleport. Might look a little bit different. Okay. Camera handler. Let me see if this will work. So I'm going to take the camera, a new camera. Nice. That's a little camera preview. Plugin doing its job. So let's make a camera pan shot. Take this camera, record the position. Maybe not use Bezier curves. We are going to mark this camera to be the active camera. Enabled. Seems like active isn't the thing anymore. Position smoothing. Okay, fair enough. So 3 seconds to get down here. It's way too fast. Play some interesting stuff there. Let's say after this, we're going to move it down here. This might be a little iffy. So from 3 to 6 seconds. Move it over here. Yeah, that teleport isn't good. The problem is we don't have a way of specifying how these how these keyframes are interpolated individually. Like this is, we only have script wide or animation wide. Unless we do multiple animations. Or I bring the frames really, really close. Which, to be honest, is kind of a dog water solution. Hold on, let's enable snap. Keep the snap to 0.1. But I am going to take this 2.999. That technically works. Let's see if that will preserve or destroy it. Yep, no, that destroyed it. Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's do 20 seconds. So we'll settle here. 15 seconds. It's very linear. Let's see if cubic is going to be more helpful. Oh, it's very unhelpful. Well, it seems like we might just have to do multiple animations. So 5 seconds here. Rename shot 1. Duplicate shot 2. This is where we're going to travel down here. And then duplicate shot 3. It's going to be, maybe we'll do from the other side. Okay, can we trigger these animations? Let's see. Animation playback track, which I don't think is the same. Although we could do call method track on animation player. We'll tell it to play the animation called camera pan shot 2, and looks like the rest of the values are just we'll call them optional. Okay, now this shot I'm gonna make it autoplay. We're gonna see if that works. Okay. Jeez, man, that distortion effect really gotta ease up on it. The screen distortion. It's very, very strong. Screen effects. Okay. Bend amount. 0.5. Do we control that through code? Well, technically. Sure. Let me actually double check something. Just out of curiosity, if I were to take this chain, where's the chain? Oh, they're called vines rigid. That's not right. This one's chain rigid. Okay, so take this, and I rotate it ever so slightly. I think that should make them wiggle a little bit. Maybe because the creation code runs again. It might be, yeah. Oh well, okay. So that works. You can chain animations this way. And then from 2, it's call method track, animation player. It'll be a play. We're only going to send one argument. Whoops. Which is a string, if we didn't destroy it. Camera, pan, shot, 3. Whoops. Okay. The screen effect. Oh, it always goes to 1.0. Right. Okay, 0.5. Okay, there we go. It's not super strong. Okay. Now that works. We can control the pacing of this. Let's see. So we go here. Let's do 7 seconds. I want it to be a bit more dramatic. This is going to be music. This is going to be little set pieces. Okay, so 7 seconds. And then we're actually going to make it 10. And then tell it to play the next animation. So method call track, animation player. And this is going to be play. What do we play? We play the last animation, which is teleport streak occurred. We're going to copy that animation name. And then go back here. The animation's teleport streak occurred. Nice. Okay, that's 7 seconds. Might have to use Bezier curves for this one because it starts slow. There we go. Now, I do need to make this longer. Because it needs to not be visible of where it's coming from within the camera shot. And we need to make it so that there's a camera shake that takes place. We have a trigger screen shake, and there's also utility triggered screen shake node. How does this work? It looks like it's a function called trigger, which is perfect. Trigger origin arguments null. Right. Okay. So that's perfect because we can actually, if we place this into the level, that effectively, I'm actually going to place it as a child of this, that effectively exposes that node to the animation player, and we can call a function. So we're going to do call method track, and then trigger Okay, so we do this here. We also do this here. Okay, yeah, decorations are definitely missing here. Well, that didn't do squat. How does this work? Shake screen in the master node. It sets the shake amount. Ah, but we're not using a regular camera, are we? Okay. That isn't really good. Decided new name of the game yet? Not yet. I'm sure it'll come to me. So there's no screen shake because we're not actually using the camera that we programmed. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Here's what we can do. We'll take this camera. We're going to change type to remote transform 2D node. We're going to tell this to control camera handler. So when this node moves, the camera handler moves. And now, what we're going to do is that, oh yeah, look at that. Nice. The camera zoom is also proper. And then once the animation is done, we'll just tell the rigid body to disconnect itself. I wonder if there's a way to fix the wiggling pixels. Nice. Yes. Okay. Now, we could place this on top of the walls, which would allow us to grow this even further. So let's say 30, 40. Okay. And that. Ah, yeah, but if we do that, that's gonna be covered up here. It's not gonna be properly set up. Interesting. Now, technically not a big problem. Could always do something. What can we do here? Let me try something. 128 by 128, or let's do 256 by 256. It might not work with alpha. I thought I was using place these two sprites into a parent and then tell them to be clipped by the parent. But I think if the parent sprite has alpha transparency, that also propagates here. So probably can't put it outside. Probably have to have it be like this, behind. Okay. That's fine. Can we do something with these elements? What are these? Vines, rigid vines. How do we control them? We don't. I think what happens is that the player detects them. Okay. I think that's how that works. Vine rigid. Let me take a look at the player code. Vine rigid. That is not a thing. Okay, so maybe we didn't handle it within the player. Maybe we handle it within the segment. Rigid pipe, vine segment. It does have a group called vine segment group, so there's no script, which means it is the player that runs this. And it looks like we have this little tidbit, vine segment group, and it applies the velocity based on the velocity of the object that we're currently controlling. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be a little goofy, but we're going to make an area node. We're going to call it vine disturber. We're going to give it a shape, collision shape. It is going to be a circle. Okay, like this. We're going to attach a script, vine disturber. This is going to be objects, and what is this? It's like level mechanics. Sure. Scripted events, maybe? All right. Wait, this is objects. And we're attaching a... Are we? Yeah, we're attaching a script. So this has to be scripts, scripted events, vine disturber. There we go. There we go. We are going to get signal from the area node. Body entered. Okay. Paste in. Don't need this. And then velocity. This is where we don't really know what velocity we're working with. Maybe what we can do is have it figure out its own velocity. Let's do var position, or let's do alt position equals sure. Now let's do on ready. We're gonna have it sample its global position, then func physics process. We're gonna say it has its own variable called velocity vector 2 0, and then velocity is going to be equals to alt position minus global position. Or technically, I think we might want to do it the other way, this way. So this is just going to virtually calculate its own velocity. It's not going to be super accurate, but it doesn't have to be super accurate. Velocity. It's just that so that when we move this vine disturber using an animation player node, it kind of knows where it's moving. And let's also double check if alt velocity does not equals to the current, or if alt position is not the same as current position, then it updates the velocity. And then this velocity will be fed into the disturbance of the vine segment. Now, we're going to save this, objects, scripted events, vine disturber, and I can now go into this level. I can place vine disturber right here, and then we can animate I'm going to animate the position. I hope this actually works. Teleport streak occurred. Record the position. And then we're just going to place it right here. So you see it goes across. I also recall we had a skip button. Oh, this was, no, I think this was for debugging only. Well, that did nothing. Could be because the vines are located in a different node, vine segment, different layer. It's on layer 9, which is vines rigid. Okay, so vine disturber will have to not exist on anything and scan layer 9 only. Okay. Cool. Could probably also use one here to disturb those chains. But I think I need to make change the spawning code for the chains to account for the rotation. Okay. Hey, nice. Well, that worked. Cool. Probably have a second one. Let's get that vine disturber maybe over here. Maybe this one can be the fast one. We'll do it like this. If I remember correctly, we might have actually had a piece of code that caused all the vines to jiggle. I think I might have just developed the vine disturber for no reason. I totally forgot about that. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Do we not have a vignette being used in this game? Blasphemy. Well, that's not good. That's not good. I'm just gonna place a quick one. Okay. There we go. Just gonna make it a little bit more present, and then export PNG, and then we can just dial it back in the game. Engine, sprites, UI. Oh, we do have a vignette. Okay. Let's make a third one, I suppose. Okay, so let's do texture rect, stretch it out, and then I think we might have been using one in cutscene. Okay. Oh man. It's fantastic. Just makes it look less flat. Very cheaply so, too. Can we do a preliminary screen shake? Like when this happens, and we do it here, trigger screen shake. It's in a master node. Screen shake does not take parameters. Let's make it take a parameter, but have a default value. So any place where we already use this function, it's not going to affect it. But that's good. The only thing is that the trigger screen shake might not be too great because it doesn't allow us to forward a parameter of the strength. Okay. We had a bridge, master node function bridge. It's a utility thing. Okay, let's make another node. It's going to be a node type, and this is going to be called screen shake function bridge. Okay, the purpose of this is to expose the screen shake, which is the master node in the singleton, which we can't control in the animation player, as something that we can address in the animation player. So this is going to be utility. Utility. Scripts. Scripts. Okay, there we go. And then func shake screen amount, and then master node shake screen. We'll just forward the amount. There we go. Objects, utility, which is in level mechanics. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, perfect. So now we'll go back here. We don't want to use trigger screen shake. We're going to use screen shake function bridge instead. Okay, so we go animation player. First of all, we'll go here. Add method call track. Screen shake bridge. Insert function shake. And then funny thing is we can actually make it a bit more strong here. Okay, now that's interesting. We have to define our own data type, but what if I go here and then I give it equals 1.0? So it would technically know that it's an integer. Let's see what happens now. So I do call method track, screen shake function bridge, amount variant. But it did populate that it as a float, so that's good. All right. Let's up the ante on that. Let's do 2, and then duplicate that keyframe where the other impact occurs. Okay, and then when we go here, we're going to also do a call method on the shake. Okay. And this is going to be very light, like 0.1. We'll just duplicate it twice. Okay. Well, it didn't call it. Float callable operator. Callable? When the heck did it receive a callable? It's a shake amount received the callable. Huh. That is a float. Make sure. Yes. The valve operates float and callable on multiply. How did... Oh, because it's called shake amount. Right, that's the name of the function. That's not good. Shake AMT. That's going to be the technical term for it. That was a little goofy. I just realized there's like audio in the background. I'm not wearing headphones, so I can't hear it. Okay. And then we still crashed. Why? Shake amount. Because it is now shake AMT. Ah, that's why. Strength has to be used here. That's where the callable came from. Now that's actually fascinating. You can send references to functions as variables, as parameters. That is cool. Nice. Okay, now as soon as that happens, I would like to launch the trigger body list dialog, which we're not doing with the timer anymore. Just get rid of that. We can place it here. Trigger body list dialog is triggerable, so we just do trigger. Origin is not used, arguments are not used, so we quite literally just need to run trigger. Okay, now trigger body list dialog. So that has to be done. Whoop, no, we don't need to go in there. From here, when this occurs, let's go to 3 seconds. And let's call another method. This would be called on trigger body list dialog. And then this is going to be calling the trigger function. And that's it. Okay. Now there is technically a problem. And the problem is that our 3D cutscenes are pretty heavy in graphical content. And the problem is that it only loads when we switch to that scene or when we try to display that scene. That's not really good. There's also going to be a different soundtrack here. Okay, 3 seconds. And there you go. There's the stutter because it's loading the resources right now. Not bad, though. Okay. It also never lets us get out of this dialogue. Or cutscene. This is a little goofy. Yeah, so he kind of changes his mind, and there's literally no reason for him to do that. So when this happens, it should end. Okay, what happens here? What do we do? Narrator, start dialogue. Start dialogue. We're just starting a little dialogue here. Which means narrator is the one that opens up the scene. Okay, how do we do that? Get tree current scene, get node, trial course phase out, play. Camera pan, trial course resume, end. Request cutscene. Cutscene handler. Okay, so how does cutscene handler do? Here's the scene. It instantiates the scene, simply adds it to the child of the sub viewport, right? So that's for cutscenes, which is right here. So it literally plays a secondary cutscene on top of our primary game scene. We never actually leave the main scene. It's just being played on top of it. Okay, got it. So we have to be able to close cutscene, right? So bunk, close cutscene. There's no parameters. It is quite literally cutscene instance, which we probably should make a global variable so we can talk to it. So no var, we'll talk to that variable. So here, if is instance valid, if this is a valid instance, q free. Okay, which means our dialogue, character dialogue. Ooh, okay, we might want to edit this in the dialogue editor. Okay, the concept bay.net tools dialogi. Okay, and then we'll have to import artag rise demo character dialogues. Yes, and then we go phase out. So all the way on the right side. Let's find the way up so we can get a sense of some landmarks. Okay. Create a message. This is just going to be call method. Okay. Method to call is this one, close cutscene, and then there's no parameters. As a matter of fact, there's no way for us to actually even supply parameters here. So I suppose that's all. Save it, export it. Dialogues, demo, character dialogue. Yes, okay. Well, let's see. Is that enough? Is it going to be smart enough to pick up on it? Can't skip this part. And right now it just plays the zone soundtrack. We may want to delay that. And then it plays the cutscene. Tries to. Skip, 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 skip. We have to find where we are. Let's find a way to sense of landmarks. And crash. At least it tried. Now this is a function close cutscenes via base narrator GD. Close cutscene. Oh, request cutscene. What? Ah. Right. This has to be in the narrator. Close current cutscene is what I'm going to do, which means we're going to go to cutscene handler. Close cutscene. So again, it just forwards the function here. We do not have... Oh, actually... any narrator functions have to be stored in the narrator script. Okay, so save, export, character dialogue. Yeah, the music's going to be a lot more troublesome, or a lot more suspenseful for what we're supposed to see, what we're supposed to feel. This is just playing the Zone soundtrack at the moment. Okay. Like the little pre-shakes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. It tried. It tried. What are we... It didn't crash. It actually did exactly what we told it to. But... Cutscene handler. It looks like we're missing something. Visible true. Right. Need to make it false. Need to make it invisible. And while we are here, we can hypothetically deal with the issue of lag when it loads the cutscene. Let's see. Trigger bodiless dialogue. Trigger bodiless dialogue. We could have a variable export var preload cutscene false. Cut scene. Okay. Dialogue key. This is dialogue. This is not a cutscene. So we need to somehow have it preload. We need to have it know what to preload. So we might have to have a function ready. We might have to have an export var cutscene key, preload cutscene, and then cutscene key. In that case, the narrator is the one that handles... Okay, there's a cutscene handler. That's the one that handles the cutscenes. Narrator only handles dialogues, which don't require cutscenes, technically. Alright, that's fine. So in the ready function, we're going to do if cutscene preload is true, we're going to tell the cutscene handler to preload cutscene. We're going to provide it with a cutscene key. And now we just need to have the cutscene handler have the appropriate function for this. So func preload cutscene, and then var temp preloaded cutscene. Set it to null. We're going to make it equals to load. And what are we loading? We're loading whatever cutscene key that we had stored here. So trial course lost. That's the cutscene which we would like to preload here. Like that. Doesn't have to be with quotations. It's already a string. So that, hopefully, would force it to load the cutscene in real time. Like right now, as soon as we reach the end of this, it should instantly transfer. Hopefully. And because it's storing it into a variable, when it tries to load the cutscene, it will say, oh, we've already loaded this. We don't need to load it again. Okay. No, it's still struggles with it. Did that actually do anything? Print. Preloading. Cutscene. cutscene key. So if that actually does show up, preloaded cutscene, yeah. So we have an issue here. Preloading the cutscene does not magically make it preload all of the sprites inside of it. Although it should. I don't see why it's not doing it. Are there additional parameters? Need to load? No? Simplified version of resource loader load. Files have to be imported into the engine first. Preload. Interesting. Okay, this might be a little wild, but since the preloading doesn't work, we do have a resource preloader node that we can use to preload resources. Let's see if using this cutscene handler cutscene trial course. Yeah, let's see if using this is gonna force it to preload all the contents inside. Well, that was fast. I don't think it did. I think maybe it does preload the cutscene, but it doesn't preload the content sprites until they are requested, or until they add it as a child. Yeah. Well, what is the point? Okay. You know what? Yeah, while this is running, I'm just gonna search around, see if there's answers. And then we'll see if it closes the scene afterwards properly. Okay. Okay. I didn't quite catch if that was fast or if it lagged. This goofy ass shot has no meaning. Okay. Okay. So this works. I don't want it to just pop into this view. I want it to maybe do like a fade transition. Now, how do we do that? Cutscene handler. We have a texture rect here. Texture rect. What is the purpose of this texture rect? That is the vignette for the cutscenes. Okay, got it. So maybe we'll hide this because we already have one that's in the level, unless we want double vignette. So I guess we need, if I wanted to fade to black, it'd probably have to be in screen effects, either screen effects or UI. Whoops. Black fade time might just be here. Trigger color fill fade. Wow. Yeah, so this was quite an involved object. You can specify how long it goes to black, how long it stays, if there's a title. Trigger fade. Trigger fade. Ah, fade tween. That's not a thing anymore. But we could use this. If we fix this, right, there's no more tween nodes here. So we do tween property. Which node? Fade. Trigger fade. Trigger fade. Okay, perfect. So here's what we can do. We'll take the fade. We will set modulate alpha. Do we use this anywhere else? Like anywhere else in the code? Seems like we use it a couple of times. In the director, which isn't the thing anymore, and this is where we define it. As a matter of fact, it looks like we had multiple. Uh-huh. Right there. Okay. Cool. So I believe we don't use the director anymore. Let's see. Hide sub fast, hide sub, show sub, stop music. Yeah, this is really old. Oh boy. Oh boy. This is like handling dialogues. Okay, yeah. So the director is not a thing anymore. We're not using this. Okay. Cool. So let's get back to here. Instead of alpha, let's see. Trigger fade. Let's do start color, which is going to be null, or color dot black. Maybe we'll do null so that if it's null, then we'll just transition from whatever color the fade is at the moment. And that is this big rectangular flat shape. It's got modulate. Probably don't want to work with modulate. Probably want to work with color now. So we'll do it like this. So if this is not null, then we'll tell the fade to set the color to whatever the start color is. Then create the tween, tell the tween to operate on the fade, on the color property. Okay. We don't need to supply the starting value. It will just use whatever value we have just set it to, or whatever it is. And then this is going to be final color. Color transparent is going to be the default value. Fade duration, we can supply it here. And then for fade out, let's do set. What do we have? Cubic ease out. Okay. Set the comma here so it doesn't complain. Set ease out. And then set interpolation. What is it called? Set transition cubic. Okay. And then we don't need to start. It'll do so automatically. Okay. Now, it's in the UI. Might make more sense to have it in the screen effects, but it is what it is. So close scene, we're going to say UI dot trigger fade. Start color is just going to be null. So actually, no. Color black. Final color is going to be transparent. And then duration is going to be 5 seconds. Okay. Assignment's not right. This is not Python. We have to actually supply the values only, not parameters equals value. Beautiful. What the heck did I just run? I left something on. Cutscene handler? Yes, I left the cutscene handler on. Okay. Func ready. False. Has to disable its own visibility. So if we forget, it does that. Okay. It's too bad we don't have access to singletons in animation method call tracks. Maybe we do. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. Yeah, that's still a problem. Landmarks. Fade to black. Okay. Didn't quite work. But I mean, it worked, it was just not with the correct colors. So what happened? Narrator, we say color black, then color transparent. Hold on. Is color transparent? Color transparent is white. White transparent. That's not good. Okay, so this is why we can't use a transparency. We have to set it to black and make it transparent, and then send the color in this way. Okay. But it almost worked. I'd like to be able to fix that. Actually, okay. We'll wait for this animation thing. We'll see if it works. The fade from black. And then we'll take a look at fixing that chain. Because our chain creation code runs in the editor and in the game. Okay. Jeez, it takes a while. Landmarks. Black. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Final step. Spawn the players. Spawn the players. We have player spawn, player camera handler, player start, and it has a function called create players. Okay. So how do we do that? Might have to do this through the dialogue. So it says close current cutscene. I could place one here, and then we do end. The message type is call method. Spawn players. Okay. So it's going to run through both of those methods at the same time, which means this is the narrator doing this. Func spawn players. And how do we do it? Well, we need to get access to the player start. So that means place it in the group. Player start group. In the narrator, get tree, get first node and group, player start group, and then call the function called spawn players. For spawning players within cutscenes or dialogue completion. When dialogue is done. Okay. I think that should do it. Marks? Okay. Really? Oh, hold on. Now this is function spawn players in the base player start. Oh, it's probably not spawn players, isn't it? Create players. Yo, man. Alright. That one's on me. This recording has also been going for an hour and a half now. Man, time flippin' flies. It is surprising just how small of a step you make when you're working on the project. There we go. Okay, now that we've done this, since we're still on the roll, let me see if I can address these chains. Okay, how do we set this? It's a position Y. We had it as a child of ourselves, and we set position Y. Okay. That's local position. So why would it not do this? Bit of an extreme, but let's see. Yeah, it just starts like this. Now let's pay attention to what that first link looks like. Let's see if it's sideways. Yep, it is sideways, but it still spawns everything downwards. It destroys. Hmm. Instantiate position. When we do add child, it adds the child to whoever's running this code, which is the chain link. When we rotate the chain link, everything inside of the chain link should be relative to the parent. So if the parent rotates, the chain link rotates. This is wild. Why is it not rotating it? If I make it upside down, it should appear upside down. Unless something in here resets it. Which it doesn't, because we've seen the thing... we've seen that the thing is crooked, just like we left it. Okay, this might be a little weird, but let's see what happens if I do it like this. New segment position equals vector 2 cosine sine. Now, cosine is for calculating x, sine is for calculating y. What is the angle? Well, rotation, and then multiplied by what is the distance? I times 20. Let's see. Oh. Interesting. Maybe the rotation also didn't match because new segment dot rotation equals the rotation of the parent. Yeah, that's all sorts of messed up. Huh. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because it needs to go in the opposite direction. Okay. Yeah, sure. But it's also off by 90 degrees. So plus pi divided by 2. There's a chance. Okay, that looks like That looks like it's the right length. Okay. I think it's simply because we need to... Uh-huh. Okay, so that's almost correct. It's going sideways right now. Is that rotation? This is the correct rotation. So I think we have an issue with the rotation here. Plus pi divided by 2. Okay, pi divided by 2 is 90 degrees. That goes up. So we need to do minus. And maybe that is why we don't need to add rotation here. So the issue wasn't the rotation, the orientation of the chain links. It was the direction of placement. Okay. And then here, which, you know, we can just reset this. Although that looks a little... There we go. That actually kind of doubles the rotation. Gotta be careful about that. Okay. So what if I do it like this? Okay, well that doesn't really work. Rotation, rotation. I suppose that's because we're using this. See, this doesn't make sense. We shouldn't have to use the rotation. We shouldn't have to do any of this stuff. It should just be down. What is down? Let's see. So this would be pi? Pi or half pi. Let's see. Yeah, probably half pi. Which kind of makes sense because by default, 0 degrees is to the right. The angle of 0 is to the right. Okay. So this has to be negative. Let's see here. Nope, it's just straight right away. Okay. Let me try this. Duplicate. I'm going to move this up here, where the camera starts right away. See, that works. Oh, it settles too quickly. Darn it. Okay, so that means this was working before, but it just settles way too quickly. Huh. Chain link. We have chain rigid. Chain link looks like an old attempt at creating it. Okay, chain rigid, and this uses just vine segment. Okay, we reused it. Vine segment, so it probably has damping. No, no damping. Hmm. Fascinating. I could maybe place an object. I could do this. Go to the scene. Don't need this, of course. I can take the vine disturber, bring it over here. Reset this. Okay. And then in the animation, by the end of the first one, we're simply going to take this vine disturber here and tell it to kind of go through these two and just terrorize them a little bit. It's really dumb. No. It was so dumb that it didn't work. Why? Should probably look up that that vine shaking function. Oh, well, I think it does. I think it actually does go through it, but it's too fast and it doesn't affect it that much. Okay, fine. Let's see. Screen effects. Nope. Shake. Shake screen. That's just forwarding it. Shake screen. Shake screen. Shake mount. Let's look up the vine segment. It's a part of the group. Let's see. Oops. Control Shift F. Player and vine disturber are the only ones that are actually doing this. Grim, welcome back. Okay. Well, I mean, we could quite literally just make it. Player, vine disturber. Right. Okay, that's fine. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to copy this. We're going to make a new scene. It's going to be a basic Node2D. And then this is going to be bridge, vine, global vine shake bridge. So this is for shaking all the vines. I could have sworn I've done something like this already, but I cannot find it. Dang it. I just saved it into a random place. Global Vine Shake Bridge. Screen Shake Function Bridge. That's for bridging the screen shake. Okay. Okay. Func shake all vines. We are going to do get tree, get nodes in group, and then for each vine in, we're going to apply. Maybe it should be a little random. -5 +5. Actually, let's make sure that we can send the strength in here. Minus strength plus strength. Rand depth range minus strength plus strength. Okay. And then that's going to be applied to each segment. Okay. Save it up. Objects, level mechanics, utility. Okay. And then go into the animation. Maybe right here. Call another method. Vine shake bridge. Call the function. Shake all vines. 1.0. We'll see. Okay. I don't know if it worked or not. We could try increasing the strength. So let's go here. Let's make it 10. Sure. Let's have them go ballistic. I mean, technically, yeah, we're working in 2D. 1 pixel of force is basically barely anything. Now, it doesn't want to do it. Get nodes in group, vine segment group. Okay. Print. Shake all vines. Let's see if that actually gets printed. Oh, shake all vines did get printed. Let's see. Okay, I see a little bit of a movement. So I think we just need to make sure that there's enough force. It does apply central impulse. It's a one-time force application. So I think that has to be usually a lot larger than, let's say, add central force. Okay, there's... Am I hallucinating this? Or does that look like it's not doing anything? I might want to double check if it's actually looping through the vines. Oh, no, there is movement. It's just not very strong. Okay. Print vine shake loop. Oh, wait, really? So it does work. I think it's just the chains settle way too quickly. How can we deal with that? Is it because of their weight? Maybe. Find segment. 0.2. Maybe we can do 0 friction. Ah. Yeah, okay, but that was only a one-time thing. Okay. So let's say we're going to do bounce. This might actually just cause it to fly off the side of the screen. But bounce usually causes it to inherit some velocity, not lose all the velocity with the collision. Yeah, okay. You know what? Yeah, it really seems like we need to have a vine disturber here. Maybe we can do it on this. It might be too late, but let's see. Oh, what the? Wait, what? What's this doing here? Oh, that is not a vine disturber. That's a camera controller. All right. Alternatively, I could make the vine spawn in right as the camera. Oh, jeez. Yeah, right as the camera goes into that view. But let's... vine segment. We need to get rid of this. What in the heck? It's a spooky ghost. Oh boy. No. No. You get back there. Okay. Um, I don't want to get stuck on this, to be honest. So it does actually move it. We just don't want to do it here. We want to do it right at the tail end. There we go. Although, they settle way too quickly, though. I don't like that. Yeah, see? It just, like, calms down into the basic pose. That's not very realistic. This looks pretty good, except, yeah, maybe not. The friction is killing it. We also still have an issue with the player being blown out by the light source. Yeah, like that. You could technically do this. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of these sprites. These player sprites. They look too non-stylistic. It's like, yeah, I have a head, very distinct body, limbs. It doesn't look interesting. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Sprites. UI. Save this here. This is a blank sprite. This is teleport streak, which turned out pretty good looking. We can also add additional sprite layers to that to get it to work. Save this. Okay. Cool. Well, it's 12 o'clock. Should I call it a night? It's kind of my fault for not starting this early. So I suppose we can just wrap it up here. And yeah, continue in the next one. I think the cutscenes, the cutscene and the integration of it into the game is looking pretty good. Especially the way we have the two streaks of the characters getting teleported here. That works pretty well.